All right, so buckle up, everybody, because we are diving into the August issue of OCQ magazine today. And let me tell you, it's a wild one.
Yeah, it's
We're talking AI taking over accounting. Okay, maybe not taking over, but definitely shaking things up.
right.
We've got the do's and don'ts of online reviews, which, let's be real, can make or break a business these days.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where it gets interesting, a deep dive into chronic pain.
Yeah.
Now, you might be thinking, what do those three things possibly have in common?
Right. That's a
And I'll be honest, my first thought exactly, but trust me, there's a thread that ties it all together.
yeah. And you know what ties it all together is this idea of adaptation. This magazine, it's like they knew we were going to be talking about it on the show. It's like a guidebook for navigating the crazy world of business.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, things are changing faster than ever.
Absolutely.
You've got technology throwing curveballs left and right, customers who expect you to read their minds.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there's the stuff we don't always talk about, like how do we adapt to the stuff going on in our own heads?
Yeah.
The stuff that affects how we work.
It's all connected.
Exactly.
I'm particularly fascinated by this magazine because they're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk.
Oh, how so?
They use AI, like, a lot.
Yeah.
For writing articles, designing graphics, you name it. So they're living proof of what they're preaching.
Oh, wow, that's meta.
Right. One article that really caught my eye was Groot potential for AI in accountants branch, which for those of us who don't speak Dutch means great potential for AI in the accounting industry. And it lives up to the title. They dive into how AI is poised to completely revolutionize the accounting profession as we know it.
Okay, I have to admit, when I hear AI and accounting in the same sentence, I tend to tune out a little. I mean, it's important, but it's not exactly the most thrilling topic,
Right.
But revolutionize it. How?
Okay, so picture this. You're an accountant, right? But instead of spending hours hunched over spreadsheets, you're using AI to, say, advise a client on a major merger or help a small business owner navigate some tricky tax situation.
Okay, so we're not just talking about automating those tedious tasks, which, don't get me wrong, is huge. But it's about using AI to actually do what we humans do best. Think strategically.
Exactly. And get this, the article itself was partially written using AI.
Wait, seriously? That's wild.
It even quotes a source talking about how AI leads to improved efficiency, quality, and even fraud detection. Talk about a meta moment. The tech is literally showcasing its own capabilities as we're reading about it.
It's like AI is writing its own resume or something.
Right.
Okay, so that's pretty mind-blowing. But it also kind of makes you think, what does this mean for accountants in the future? Do they need to become like AI whisperers or something?
That's a great question.
Right, because it's not enough to just be good with numbers anymore. You need to be tech savvy, understand these complex algorithms, and then translate all that into something your clients can actually use. It's a whole new skill set.
Yeah, we're not just talking number crunching anymore. We're talking being a strategic advisor, a tech savvy consultant. It's a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely. And that makes me wonder about accounting education and training. Like, how do you prepare for a future where AI is your co-pilot?
Right. It's not about AI replacing humans. It's about equipping humans with AI superpowers. But more than that, it's about understanding what those superpowers allow us to do differently.
I like that. AI superpowers.
Right. And speaking of adapting, let's move on to an area where businesses are constantly trying to stay ahead of the curve: online reviews.
Oh, yeah.
The article, Mere Google Reviews, takes us deep into that world, and it's honestly more impactful than many people realize. I have to admit, I'm guilty of it too sometimes. Like, I'll glance at the star rating and maybe skim a few reviews if I'm feeling ambitious.
Right, but how often do we really dig deep?
Exactly. But this article, it hit me with this stat that just stopped me in my tracks. It said 97% of customers read reviews for local businesses.
Wow.
That's basically everyone.
Yeah, that's not just window shopping. That's everyone packing their bags and ready to either move in or completely write the place off.
Right. It really highlights how important those little star ratings, those little blurbs of feedback really are.
They're huge. I mean, forget word of mouth. This is a word of internet, right?
Exactly. It's like the digital handshake that either builds trust or breaks it before you even walk in the door.
It's make or break, for sure.
Totally. But don't businesses already know this? It seems like everyone's obsessed with getting those 5-star reviews.
Oh, absolutely. But here's where it gets tricky. This article, they had this whole section on what not to do. And at the top of the list was incentivizing reviews. Like offering discounts or freebies in exchange for a glowing review.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. And apparently it can really backfire. Customers can smell that a mile away, and it just makes the whole thing feel icky and inauthentic.
Makes sense. If it feels forced, it's not going to have the desired effect. People want the real deal, honest opinions from other customers who aren't being bribed with a free coffee.
Exactly. So the question then becomes, how do you encourage those authentic reviews? You can't just cross your fingers and hope for the best, right?
Right. So what do they suggest? Spill a tea.
Okay, so they have this whole section. It's called 8 onbenut manieren, which basically means 8 untapped ways to get those reviews rolling in. And there are some really creative ideas in there.
Okay, give me an example. I'm intrigued.
Okay, one that I thought was really smart was about leveraging social media monitoring. So it's not about bombarding every single person who mentions your business online with a review request.
Right, that's just annoying.
The worst. It's more about being strategic and building a connection first. So let's say someone tweets about how much they love the coffee at your cafe.
Okay.
You could reply with a quick, "Hey, thanks for the shout out. So glad you enjoyed it."
Yeah.
And then maybe add something like, "If you have a moment, we'd love to hear more about your experience on Google Reviews."
Oh, I like that.
Right. It's low pressure, but it plants the seed.
It feels very organic, like you're genuinely interested in their feedback, not just trying to get something from them.
Exactly. And the article really emphasizes that it's not just what you say, but how you say it. They have this whole section on varying your approach.
Oh, interesting.
So for some customers, like a simple line in your email signature might be enough, just a quick, "We love hearing from our customers."
Yeah.
But for others, it might be more effective to send a personalized text message after a really great interaction.
So it's about meeting people where they are, using different channels, and tailoring the message accordingly. This reminds me of that saying, if you judge a fish, you know how it goes.
If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
Yes. You'll think it's pretty bad at being a fish. And you might miss out on some amazing seafood dinners. But seriously, the point is one size doesn't fit all, right?
Totally.
You got to consider the customer, the platform, and make those review requests feel like a natural extension of the overall experience.
And that's where it all comes together. Because ultimately, it's not about chasing reviews. It's about creating experiences so good that customers can't wait to share them.
Yes.
The article, they really hammered this point home. The absolute best way to get more reviews is to go above and beyond for your customers, to give them something worth talking about.
It's about building a business that practically markets itself through sheer awesomeness.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this ties back to that theme of adaptation we talked about earlier.
Oh, so.
It's not enough to just tack a review request onto every interaction, right? Businesses need to adapt their entire mindset, their entire customer interaction model to this new world where online feedback is everything.
It's like you have to bake it into the DNA of your business.
Exactly. Okay, so speaking of adaptation, let's talk about this last article, Doorbreek Decircle, which means break the cycle. Now, this one seems a little out of place in a business magazine at first glance because it's all about chronic pain.
Interesting.
And I'll be honest, I was a little hesitant to dive into this one at first.
Yeah, not exactly your typical business advice.
Right, but trust me, there is a connection here, a really fascinating one. So the article tells the story of Lind, who's been struggling with chronic pain for a while now. And I think when we hear chronic pain, we automatically go to like physical therapy, medications, that sort of thing.
Right, treat the symptom.
Exactly. But this article, it takes a completely different approach. It's about recognizing patterns.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So they talk about how Lynn's pain, it wasn't just physical, it was actually tied to like these deeply ingrained patterns of behavior, past experiences, things like that.
Oh, wow. So they're looking at the whole person, the whole picture.
Exactly. And that's where the business connection comes in. So think about it this way. Just like unexamined emotional baggage can manifest physically as pain, unexamined business practices can lead to these recurring problems. You know those issues that just keep popping up no matter what you do?
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
There's often a deeper root cause, right? Like a pattern that we're not acknowledging or addressing.
It's like having that annoying check engine light come on in your car and you keep just resetting it, hoping it'll go away on its own.
But it always comes back because you never actually fix the problem.
Exactly.
Okay, so then how do we break the cycle, whether it's in our personal lives or in our businesses? The article mentions journaling. Is that something they recommend for like business owners too? It seems a little I don't know, touchy-feely for some people, maybe.
Right, but think about it this way. It's not about journaling your feelings, necessarily. It's about getting curious about those recurring pain points in your business.
Okay, I like that.
So let's say you keep running into the same problem with inventory management. Instead of just trying to put out the fire every time, you sit down with your notebook and you just start asking questions.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so you could ask, when does this problem usually happen? Who's involved? Are there any patterns in terms of time of year, specific suppliers, anything like that?
It's about bringing those subconscious patterns to the surface, making them conscious so you can actually do something about them.
Exactly. And just like Lende in the article might benefit from some professional help to address those deeper issues related to her pain, sometimes entrepreneurs can benefit from an outside perspective too, you know?
Like a mentor, a business coach, that kind of thing.
Yeah, someone who can ask those tough questions, help you see the blind spots. Because let's face it, we all have them.
It's amazing to me how these three seemingly random articles all tie back to the same idea, like adapt or get left behind, right?
Right.
Whether it's AI revolutionizing the accounting profession, or the power of online reviews, or even this deep dive into chronic pain and those hidden patterns.
It's all connected. It's about being proactive, not just reactive.
Yeah.
About constantly questioning the way things are done and being open to new ways of thinking.
Well said. I'm already looking at things differently after this deep dive into OCQ magazine.
You too.
And I have a feeling our listeners are too. But we've covered a lot today.
Yeah, we have.
AI taking over the world, well, at least the accounting part of it.
Right.
The power of online reviews and how to make them work for you. And then this whole unexpected journey into the world of chronic pain and what it can teach us about running our businesses.
Who knew those things went together?
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
It does, doesn't it? But as we wrap things up, one question keeps coming back to me, and it's kind of a big one.
Get me with it.
This whole magazine, right, this collection of really insightful articles that sparked this whole conversation.
Yeah.
It was heavily crafted using AI.
Right.
So if a machine can help us understand and navigate the complexities of being human, what does that say about us? What's our unique value in this world?
Whoa. Yeah,
It's something to think about, right?
it is.
And on that note, we're going to leave you to ponder that. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a really thought-provoking one, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.